Hello, dear students. So, this is your teacher Raminder Kaur, and welcome back. We are going to start with chapter number 5, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. This chapter is in continuation with class 10th chapter, Heredity. In that, you have simply studied about Gregor John Mendel, that how he is known as father of genetics, and he has described that how the genes are passing from one generation to another and how we look identical to one another. How the characteristics which are present on the chromosomes, they can sometimes be similar with our parents, and on the other side they could be fully distinct from each other. So before starting the chapter, let's look upon its mind map. So in Principles of Inheritance, we are first of all talking about Mendel's law of inheritance. So Gregor Mendel was the very first scientist who took over the concept of mathematical logical analysis, that he described the proportion and the percentage of gene transfer from one generation to the another. He proposed three laws under it: law of dominance, segregation, and independent assortment. After his studies, few other scientists also put forward their own concepts, and they have shown some of the features that were deviating from dominance, segregation, and independent assortment. In that, there was codominance, incomplete dominance, multiple allelism, etc. After this, we will study sex determination in birds, humans, grasshopper, etc. That how chromosomes sometimes they are appearing in a dominant form, and in female sometimes they are homozygotic, sometimes they are heterozygotic in nature. Then come to the next topic, mutation. Mutation are the sudden changes that can exist at any point. Mutations are divided into two types: point mutations and chromosomal mutations. Mutations are generally taking place whenever some change occurs in the nucleotide sequence of DNA. So as DNA is the genetic material, so whenever any change occurs, it will lead to certain disorders in the body. Last topic of the chapter will be genetic disorders. Genetic disorders are further classified into two types: Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. So if they are arising from genes, Mendelian it is termed as, because Mendel has discovered the factor called as genes, that genes are present on the chromosomes. It includes three important Mendelian disorders: hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, and phenylketonuria. Chromosomal disorders are those that, as in humans, we have total 46 chromosomes. If certain addition means, instead of 46, if there are 47, instead of 46, if there are 45, due to addition, deletion of a single chromosome, it can result to disorders in the body, which will not only affect the mental effect of the body or the physiology, but even the other body parts, they also become sterile in nature. These are Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, and Turner's syndrome. So let's start with the chapter. So very first, Gregor John Mendel, known as father of genetics, man of science, and man of God. His most of the studies are on peas, garden peas. Scientific name is Pisum sativum. Have you ever wondered why dogs are always giving rise to dogs? If there is one breed called Pomeranian, whenever there is self-breeding, here I am not talking about artificial breeding. When there is self-breeding, the puppies will be also Pomeranian. when any fruit you are going to implant in the soil, the same fruit will be produced on the plant. It means there are certain characters which are responsible for passing on the information from one generation to the another. Sometimes you can see the twins are identical and sometimes they could be non-identical. This is due to genes present in them. Sometimes the siblings, they look similar, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the children looks like their parents and sometimes they don't. Few of the characters can be similar and other can vary. So these questions are dealt with a branch of science called as genetics. So what is genetics? It is a study of heredity, that how the characters, how the traits are passing on from parents to the offsprings. This study, this process of passing of genes is known as inheritance. Variations can occur. If we classify reproduction into two types, there is sexual reproduction as well as asexual reproduction. So if there are changes during the formation of the zygote, because two kind of gametes, they will fuse with each other, some variations will occur. That variations are resulting into differences. Humans are known from 8000 to 1000 BC. So one of the causes of variation that is present in the sexual reproduction. So variations, they existed and they multiplied, and how we evoluted, how they are passing on. Animals will selectively breed and we are selecting them for hybridization. As in the chapters Strategies for Enhancement in Food Production, you have studied both animal husbandry and plant breeding techniques. In animal husbandry, there are different kinds of techniques such as surrogate mother is being used, in artificial insemination is being done, cross breeding is done, cross hybridization is done, inbreeding, outbreeding. These are the various kind of techniques by which we are selecting the kind of offsprings produced by any kind of animal. Similarly in plant breeding also. So the new techniques which are being used, they are artificial selection, and we are leading to domestication from the ancestral characteristics. So these days we have Sahiwal cows, we have hybrid varieties of each and every plant as well as some of the animals. This is due to that we have understood that how to take up the genes, which genes are superior, which genes are dominant in nature, and how to introduce them into the next generation. If you remember biofortification, that was to improve the quality. Which kind of quality? Nutritional quality of the plant. So if we are saying vitamin A rich carrot, it means a gene that is recognizing to the creation of vitamin A. Vitamin A is produced by certain enzymes, and those enzymes, they are actually produced by genes. So if the scientists have understood that this gene is responsible for this particular protein or enzyme, then they will take it out from one plant and they can introduce it into another. So this is the way of artificial selection, artificial hybridization, and we are able to produce genetically modified crops, which we call GM crops. So let's talk about Mendel first. So in case of Mendel's law of inheritance, so Mendel was a scientist who worked under mid-19th century, and he conducted normal hybridization experiments. So in his garden, there were peas which were grown. So he looked upon the characters that there are many contrasting characters found in the peas. That some of the peas, that their height was tall, some of them were dwarf in height. Their seeds, some of the seeds were yellow, some were green. Some seeds were fully round and some were wrinkled. Flowers were also varying. They were also showing contrasting features. Some of them were white, some of them were violet or purple. Pods from which we take out the pea seeds. Some of them were full and some of them were having some wrinkles on it called as constricted. Few of them were yellow, others were green. Flowers were originating at axial position or terminal position. So he took out the 7 contrasting features. This question is very important, why Mendel has chosen pea plant for investigation. So the very first point that you have to answer is that it consists of 7 contrasting features that are difficult to take out the data from any other kind of plant. So the sampling size was big. So greater credibility to the data was collected. So it was the very first time when mathematics was incorporated with biology. Science and mathematics both were used. And at that particular moment, no other colleague or fellow member has understood that how Mendel is taking out the inheritance. They were rejecting the work of the Mendel. They were saying that the framework is wrong, objectives are wrong. But after some time, it came into existence that genes are the only factors, only unit of inheritance which are responsible for passing on the characters from one generation to another. And then the work was accepted. So with this 7 contrasting traits, 7 of the traits were dominant and 7 were recessive. As seed shape, round is dominant, wrinkled are recessive. Before starting this, let me explain what is the meaning of dominant trait and recessive trait. Dominant traits are those characters which have the capacity to express themselves in any generation. Recessive are those which can be easily ignored, which are inferior characters, that they can be overpowered by some other characters. So you have to learn these 7 contrasting traits regarding their seed shape, color, flower position, pod shape, pod color, as well as the height of the plant. Mendel took his experiments naturally as well as with artificial breeding for several continuous years. So he used true breeding pea lines. If I speak the true term here, true breeding means where all the characters are naturally present, means they are at their dominant stage. It has undergone self-pollination. For several generations, he understood the generations, that how the first generation is varying from the second generation. So let's come to the contrasting traits studied by Mendel in pea. So you have to learn this table 5.1. If we look upon figure 5.2, what are the basic steps in making a cross in pea? In the second chapter, we have already studied that for cross hybridization, we need to remove the anthers from the bisexual plant. As pea plant, pea flower is bisexual in nature, means both male and female parts are present in the same flower. So we have to prevent the self-pollination. So when anthers will mature, before that we will remove the anthers, and this process is called as emasculation. Then Mendel has taken a suitable anthers from any other pea plant and the pollens were sprayed on it. This kind of pollination is known as artificial breeding or cross pollination, which has resulted into a very suitable kind of plants in them. So inheritance of one gene. Here we are only talking about one gene. Either it is resembling the tallness or dwarfness, or it can be seed shape, seed color, flower position, pod shape, pod color. Means we will not take 2 genes, we will take only one gene in this case. So in this simple one experiment, which has already been studied in class 10th as well. So Mendel has crossed tall pea plant with dwarf pea plant to study the inheritance, that how genes vary when they fuse with each other. So he collected the seeds. In this way, the cross was grown and the first hybrid generation was generated. First hybrid generation is known as filial 1 progeny. So progeny you can either write generation, F1 generation. What was the outcome? Outcome was that all of the F1 generation plants were tall. None of them were dwarf. So he found that one gene that is dominant, it is present in such superior capacity, it has not allowed the dwarf genes to show their power. So then what he did, he took over these tall F1 plants which were produced during F1 generation, and then he self-pollinated them. But now when the second generation result came, this was surprising for him, because earlier he said that law of dominance exists where the dominant gene show its power and it shows its ability. But during the growth of the second generation, out of the 100% generation, 25% were pure tall, 25% were dwarf, and the 50% was hybrid tall. It means the dwarf characteristics which came, it has shown that genes they have intermixed. Genes have lost the capacity of dominance. Dwarf genes have also came into existence. This is known as law of segregation. So two kind of generations are there, F1 generation and F2 generation, and two ratios will come after F2 generation that we call as phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio. So this is very simple cross which you have to draw in your notebook as well. So tall plant crossed with short plant must be written as dwarf plant. When gametes are formed, so obviously gametes will segregate, and during F1 generation 100% F1 generation was tall. But we do not call it as pure tall because one is capital T and other is small t. We have to represent the dominant traits as capital and recessive traits as small. When the F1 plants, they were self-pollinated with each other. Means no cross pollination was done. What happened during this Punnett square? So the outcome which came, that we make a square, and in this you can see number 1 capital T means pure tall plant. Then 2 are capital T small t means hybrid tall they are. And the last one is dwarf, that is small t small t. Two ratios are there. One is phenotypic ratio. If you will look on the plant only, you will see 3 are tall, 1 is dwarf. This is phenotypic. Phenotypic means external expression. 3 are tall, 1 is dwarf. Genotypic. Now if you study the genes, when you will study the genes, you will see 1 is pure tall, means 1 ratio. Then 2 are hybrid tall. That's why genotypic ratio comes to be 1 ratio, 2 ratio, 1. Means pure tall, hybrid tall and dwarf. Based on these observations, he proposed that something is there which is being stably passed down. Means that has not changed from the parents to the offspring. Over the successive generations, something is there that is passing. Some unit is there that is responsible for this inheritance. He named it as factors. But today we call them as genes. He called genes as factor, that some factor is responsible. So genes are the unit of inheritance. They contain each and every information. Our hair color will be brown, black. Our eye color will be blue, black, brown. Every information is located on these genes. So they code for the pair of contrasting traits, and when they come in pairs, that is called as alleles. Simply, we never represent any trait as capital T. We have to write as capital T, capital T. This is known as allele. If you want to show dwarf characters, you will write small t, small t. This is known as allele. So in this figure 5.3, same crossing is shown. Parentals are there, F1 generation hybrid tall came, then self-pollination, F2 generation 3 are tall and 1 is dwarf. So capital letter should be used for the dominant trait, small alphabet should be used for the recessive trait. So as example for height, capital T is using for tall, small t is using for dwarf. So in the pair of alleles, we have to write either capital T, small t or small t, small t. In this case, he has talked about pure lines. So pure lines are those in which both the factors should be same. We can either call it as homozygous or pure line. So both are pure line, both parents are pure. Here you can say both parents are pure. One is pure tall, other is pure dwarf, because there is no other character even in this case as well. One is capital T, pure tall. Small t, pure dwarf. There is no intermixing of factors between them. We call them as homozygous. And capital T and small t, they are the genotypes because they are representing the genes. And when we write tall, dwarf, when we say black, brown, when we say white, violet, means only the external features we are recognizing. That is known as phenotype. So what would be the phenotype of the plant that had a genotype capital T, small t? Hybrid tall. Because we cannot say average medium height. No. So capital T, small t will be hybrid tall. That is known as heterozygote condition. So dominant factors are those which are showing their expression. Recessive are those which are unable to express themselves. So capital T is dominant over small t. Then it's very convenient to use the capital and the lowercase alphabets to demark them with the dominance and the recessiveness. We cannot use, as I have already told, we cannot use single t or single small t. We have to use them in pairs, so we call them as alleles. Now if I come to monohybrid and dihybrid crosses, if we are showing inheritance of single gene, so it is called as monohybrid cross. But if I take up two different genes and their cross I will show, their inheritance will be called as dihybrid cross. So in this case, it is again the repetition only. A Punnett square has been shown. Punnett square you can make for both F1 generation as well as F2 generation. So first of all, parents are tall and dwarf. Then gametes are segregated. Punnett square has been formed. All 100% generation is hybrid tall. When they are selfed with each other, means self-pollination is being done. Then the Punnett square shows phenotypic ratio 3:1 and genotypic ratio 1:2:1. So similar things are told here. So whenever in the paper, in the exam, law of dominance will come, you will only draw from parental side, then you will show gametes and F1 generation, law of dominance will get finished. Because here we are showing capital T is dominant over small t, law of dominance. But when the question comes about law of segregation, then you will start from the actual parents, you will show F1 generation, you will self-cross the F1 plants, and you will end up till the F2 generation, writing the phenotypic and the genotypic ratio. Then only law of segregation, inheritance will be finished up. So segregation is a random process. Similarly, segregation means whenever in males there are X and Y chromosomes, in females there are X and X chromosomes. So they will segregate. So 50% chances of the baby girl, 50% chances of the baby boy. So segregation is a very random process. So in this way, gametes of tall capital T capital plant, they have the allele capital T, dwarf having the small t. But when capital T small t hybrid tall has been formed, it has one gene as capital T and other small t. That's why it is called as heterozygous condition. So Punnett squares are very easy to represent such kind of graphical representations, right? It shows the parental characters, it shows the gametes, it shows the F1 progeny, it shows the F2 progeny. So it gives us the easy confirmation about it. Similarly, here in these paragraphs, they have shown that how much percentage of pure tall plants we have received. That is only 1/4. How much small t plants are achieved? 1/4. And how many hybrid tall are achieved? That is 1/2. So F2 generation is giving us a clear idea. 50% pure tall, 25% pure tall, 50% hybrid tall, and 25% is the dwarf plants. So this paragraph is just a combination. They have shown us that how phenotypic and genotypic ratios, they vary from each other. So during the self-pollination of F2 plants, further he found that there was segregation in F3 and F4 generations. He even concluded that dwarfs, they are homozygous in nature, like small t, both the genes are same, right? So from the preceding paragraphs, it will be clear that how genotypic ratios, they are calculated mathematically by simply looking on them. But if we do not recognize the difference between the pure tall and the hybrid tall, how we will come to know by looking on the plant whether it is pure tall or it is hybrid tall. Again, this is a question, right? How Mendel come to know that 50% of the generation which has come in F2 filial generation, it is hybrid tall and it is not the pure tall? By simply looking on the plant, height will be same. Height will not change. It will not be in average. Like suppose if 4 meter tall we say them as tall, and 2 meter we say them as a dwarf. Hybrid tall does not mean that they will be 3 in between. No. Hybrid tall will also be 4 meter. So if in a farm you have grown such kind of plants, how will you come to know that this kind of population, this percentage of population has come to me, that is hybrid tall? So for this, we need a test cross to identify the genotype, whether it is homozygous or it is heterozygous. So here they have shown, like they have taken one purple flower and other as a white flower. So purple, they are mostly the dominant ones, and the white, they are the recessive ones. But we want to understand here whether they are pure purple or whether they are hybrid purple. For this, what could be done? We have to cross that dominant phenotype or unknown genotype with the recessive phenotype. So when it will be crossed, firstly we will cross capital P with small p. Secondly, we will cross with capital P small p, means hybrid one, with small p. In the first case, you can see all are purple. If all purple came, it means it was pure. But if 50% generation came to be purple and 50% came to be white, that is outcome. Then it is clear that that genotype, unknown genotype, was hybrid. So test cross is very important. Any kind of example could be given and they can ask you that whether the genotype is homozygous or heterozygous in nature. So these examples almost they are same, right? So again here they have taken the purple color as capital W and the white as small w. So you can see in the very first case all are appearing to be violet or purple. In the second case, half of the flowers are violet and half of them are white. In this way, we can simply recognize. So, law of dominance means when the characters or traits, they are dominating over the recessive ones. And law of segregation means when they get segregated from one another. So, students, we will find out the more characteristics of law of dominance and law of segregation in the next video lecture. Till then, thank you.